You are Locked On Marlins Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Miami on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is up, Fish fans? Welcome to another episode of your Locked On Marlins Postcast. My name is Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease. And yes, they finally got one done against the San Diego Padres today. Yes, the Marlins are not going to win this series, did not win the series, but they won the final game. And it was a crazy game. Let me tell you all about it. First things first, Grease takes care of business. Right? What a year 1994 was in hip-hop. I just want to say that. But first things first, I want to thank you for making Locked On Marlins Postcast your first listen every day. We're free, available wherever you get your podcasts, and on YouTube, Locked On Sports Miami, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. And your team being the Marlins, you're in the win column. Joe Angel, baby, a 5-year-old child, has become king. His call in 97. Supplyhouse.com is our title sponsor today, the reliable way to get parts fast. Shop for your next plumbing, HVAC, or electrical job and get fast shipping from coast to coast at supplyhouse.com. I think I'm a little hot. Well, I mean, no, the level, not the level on the mic, but you know what I'm saying? Hey, when you're feeling good right now, you got to let it fly. And that's the way I live my life. That's the way you should too. Let it fly when you are the guy. How about that? This is before we get too cheese here on the show. Anyway, Marlins 7-6 winners over the Padres today. Huge win for Miami, and it came in a variety of ways. It was Jesus Sanchez with the 2-run shot in the 7th inning that would prove to be the difference in the game, because right after that, the Padres would score 2 in the 8th. But a game-tying home run by Kim, or so we thought. It hit the wall, then the glove, then went over. Ground rule double based on what the rule says, and so there you have it. Ground rule double. Let me just make sure. There you go. Looking at the level here. Ground rule double, and the Marlins hold on. And Max Meyer with a win today, his longest outing since coming back to the big. So a lot of things. Remember that one to grow on when we were kids, right? One to grow on. One to grow on today with the Marlins with this win for sure. So that's really what's happening here, is that you get some things that you can really be happy about. And what is right now more important and making you happier than Jake Burger homers? Like, this dude just hitting home runs every game. He just hit a home run for the 3rd straight game today. Burger has homered 12 times since the All-Star break, right? That's 23 games. Why is that significant? Because Giancarlo Stanton did it in 22, all right? And it was during his 59 home run NL MVP season back in 2017, if you remember that. So 12 homers in 23 games for Burger. He's at 21 now. He was having a miserable year after the injury. Got off to a decent start. The team didn't. They were terrible. But Burger got hurt. Remember the oblique? And you try being a power hitter with an oblique strain of any kind, and any kind of injury in the twisting and turning in the torso area, right? So they end the Padres 7-game win streak. And Jake Burger, he said something funny after the game. He said, my wife texted me and said, are you even human now? And he's like, yeah, I guess I'm human. But he wants to have a long career. He says he knows he's one of the best power hitters in the game. And he says that if he can put more spurts together like the one he's on right now, even though all good things must come to an end, he figures he can have a pretty long career. So a great job by Burger. And, with Josh Bell, he was so hot when he got traded, and he's been ripping the hell out of the ball for the Diamondbacks, who, by the way, just swept the Phillies, where the Marlins are going now. Day off tomorrow. They'll be there Tuesday. The Diamondbacks swept the Phillies. They are killing everybody right now. So when you look at the National League standings, right, and I'll go back to the to what happened in this game in just a second. But when you look at the Phillies now, they're 7.5 above the Mets, and the Braves are tied at 7.5 back, 61 and 56, both teams dead even. The Mets were terrible, along with the Astros to start the year. Diamondbacks weren't so good either. They have risen. The Marlins have never risen, and they traded everybody, so they have a chance to rise. Anyway, Dodgers, 3.5 games above the D-backs and the Padres. Here's the significance of today's win for the Marlins. Now, the Padres and the Diamondbacks are tied. They are tied. And 8-2 in their last 10 games for each of the Padres and the Diamondbacks. The Dodgers 6-4. Losing ground. 3.5 game lead for LA. And the Phillies got plenty of lead left in the East. So the Phillies, 2 games for the Marlins, and then the Mets after that. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Philly, Thursday through Sunday in New York with the come on out and beat the Mets, who have been red hot, right? And then they haven't been. They've been losing lately. They've lost 2 in a row. They're 4-6, but they were red hot. Phillies have lost 3 in a row, swept by the Diamondbacks, who have won 3 in a row. and they're 8-2 in their last 10. So one of the hottest teams in baseball. Cleveland has fallen off big time in the American League. Astros still killing it. And look, the Orioles at 5-5 in their last 10. Same with the Red Sox. We thought they were coming on in the American League East, and the Yankees 6-4 in their last 10. But my point is, you're playing great teams. The Marlins are playing great teams day in and day out. I mean, Cincinnati's not so great. They lost 3 out of 4. That's a bad loss. And Ellie De La Cruz just got red hot at the right time, and that's why they lost that series. Now the Padres, they have won still 17 of 19 games. They had won, 8 in a row, snapping that streak today, the Marlins. So, yeah, it just is. It's very difficult to continue to be hot like that in Major League Baseball. And whatever team gets hot at the end is the team that's going to win. It happens every year, regardless. But you're encouraged by a lot of things today with the Marlins. A lot of things that happen in this game make you feel good about this team. And, I mean, it's good to see Luis Arraez go. He's hitting .306 only this year. That's low for him. 3 for 4 with 2 runs scored today. 2 for 4 for Xander Bogaerts, but they did a great job on Machado, 0 for 4. Manny involved in that hard slide play with Cronenworth. More on that in a minute. We're going to get to that hard slide later in the show because that was BS by Cronenworth. And that was like an 80s or 90s hard slide take. He slid late, slid into him, spiked him, all that. Should have been thrown out of the game if you ask me. Should have been tossed. Marlins did a good job against Dylan Cease. 5 runs, only 2 earned. The Padres were terrible defensively today. They were absolutely terrible. They had Arraez had one, and Kim had one, and then it was on a throw to Arraez playing first from Kim playing second and hit his glove. It's terrible. Terrible defense by the Padres today. They're not the most technically sound and fundamentally sound team, but they have great hitters in the middle of the lineup. Don't forget Tatis is out. They have decent starting pitching, especially when Darvish is healthy and pitching, and Dylan Cease didn't pitch well today. And they have a great bullpen now that makes it a 5-inning game. Are they a World Series contender? They could be. We'll see. If the Phillies are beat up, maybe the Marlins go in there. They've been good against the Phillies this year. Do not forget the Marlins and Phillies this year. What's been going on? And it's only a 2-game series, BT Dubs. It's only a 2-game series. Tobey Maguire got bit by a spider. All right, so here we go. And so what I'm thinking about here, all right, just bear with me. The season series with the Padres, by the way, the Marlins end up 2-4. And the Phillies, they've been good against. They split with them earlier this year in a 4-gamer, and they did it in Philly, and they won 2 games in that series against their 2 best pitchers when they started. So it wasn't that they necessarily got the L's, but those guys started the games, and the Marlins won those games. So that was dope. That was absolutely dope. So for the Marlins, I mean, Xavier Edwards doing it again. 2 times on base. He's hitting .357, scores 2 runs, 1 for 4. But he had the walk. It seems like every time he gets on base, he scores. Love seeing him perform like this. It's all about, though, right now in the 2-hole, Jake Burger. Jake Burger's en fuego. I mean, 3 for 4, 3 runs scored, 2 RBIs. He had the home run in 3 straight games, 12 since the All-Star break in 23 games. Huge for him. Also, Jesus Sanchez, baby. Sanchez with a 2-run shot that ended up being the difference in this game. And what's even more telling about Jesus Sanchez, remember, he was being platooned, and he wasn't starting against lefties because he's a lefty, and they'd play him against righties. Well, now guess what? With all the trades, here's one of those ancillary benefits from those trades, right? You trade your whole team. Hey, some good might come out of it. Jesus Sanchez hit a home run off a lefty tonight. Home run off a lefty tonight, and it was the difference in the game. Ended up being the difference in the game. Hit it off Matsui with 1 on and nobody out. And it was a bomb in the upper deck, too. It was a shot for Sanchez. Jonah Bride, an RBI infield single. Stowers, 1 for 4. 2 for 4 for Otto Lopez with an RBI. Also checking Cronenworth on that awful slide, that dirty play. 1 for 4 with an RBI for Derek Hill. On the mound, Max Meyer with his longest outing of the year. 6 1/3, 7 hits, 4 earned runs. He got a little bit, late. He gave a little bit more. Peralta with a double, ground ball double inside of first base on down the line. Nardi got hit again. That's a little concerning. He went an inning and 2/3, 2 earned runs on 3 hits. But Cronin, 2/3 of a scoreless inning and 1/3 of a scoreless inning for Soriano to get his first save. Cease got the loss. He's 11-9. Real quick, on the scoring side. You know what? I'll hit that on the other side. Take you through the scoring and look at some other things as well as the hard slide, what the Marlins are doing right now and how they can continue it. And then as the days and weeks go by, this team keeps getting better. Who's coming back? The reinforcements on the way. You're watching Locked On Marlins Postcast. Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease on the Locked On Podcast Network. your team every day. 7-6. The Marlins beat the Padres. Burger blast, Sanchez saves, maxed out. More coming your way on the other side. Attention, all my skilled tradesmen and skilled tradeswomen, equally skilled. More skilled than I am, that's for sure. I want to make an announcement to you right now. I'm talking to you, man. Get supplies from the site that's made for the skilled trades. That's right, supplyhouse.com. Supplyhouse.com is the reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. Need help with an order? No problemo. Get expert support, industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the business, and talk to a real person every time. Pros in the skilled trades can get a competitive edge by joining SupplyHouse.com's free TradeMaster program, too. Every TradeMaster gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. But you have to be a trade master. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at supplyhouse.com/T-M and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at supplyhouse.com. Want to thank you again. Yeah, you know I want to thank you. Appreciate you, especially you everydayers. Shout out to the everydayers. Thank you for making Locked On Marlins Postcast your first listen every day. For your second listen, I have a suggestion. If I might so humbly give it to you, listen to the Locked On MLB podcast. You're a baseball fan. It is can't miss. Host Paul Sullivan, a.k.a. Sully, is here daily. He's going to provide national expertise with his trademark humor to help you get ready for the MLB playoffs here in the dog days of summer. Prepare for the Fall Classic with Sully, who has it all covered every single day on Locked On MLB, available on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. All right, moving along here in the show. Jim Grieshaber, call me Grease. Pumped to have you here with me as always. You everydayers know the deal. Unreal. I mean, just an emotional homestand. Skip Schumacher talking about it. It's just end of game, extra inning losses, the Reds, the Padres. These games were incredible, man. You got your money's worth extra inning games. So you got your money's worth, but a good job against a great team today by Max Meyer. Not the best performance, but enough to get the dub. I mean, 3 runs on 7 hits, struck out 4, career high 6 1/3 innings for Max, who maxed it out, man. And he's going to be dope. He's going to be a good pitcher for a long time for this organization if they keep him here, right? Finally getting that fastball in play, painting the corners with it again. He doesn't throw terribly hard, so he's got to locate it. And then that slider, which is his out pitch, is finally getting that bite back to it. He said it after the game. He's getting some teeth back on his slider. Sanchez, the 2-run shot against the lefty. Burger is crazy. And how about, literally 12 home runs since the All-Star break. He's got 21 on the year. 12 in 23 games. Wait, how many games have they played? I just realized I have to do the math on that. How many games have they played? They have played 75 and 44. Come on, University of Miami degree. Help me here. 25, 44 minus 25. Okay, there you go. 19. So, yeah, 119. 119 games. And he has 21 homers. So, 119 minus 23 is 96. In 96 games, Jake Burger had 9 home runs. In 23 games, Jake Burger has 12 home runs. He's on fire. He's unconscious. He beat Giancarlo's record for that year in 2017 for that number of home runs in that few number of games. Crazy. I mean, it's and they barely, even with all that, the Padres were down 5-0, but still almost won. They still almost won. It's just crazy. It is absolutely crazy. Meanwhile, Josh Simpson's second rehab start outing with single-A Jupiter. 1 scoreless inning. Padres go home to face Pittsburgh tomorrow. That's a long flight across the country after these games, and then you play tomorrow. Marlins have not announced the starter. I think it might be Beozo for the 2-game set opener of the 2-game set against Philly. So I think Beozo is going to be the starter in game 1 here. But it comes down to the Marlins hitting the ball. Their bullpen's been good. Couple of glitches here, a couple of bad outings there on this homestand. If it weren't for those bad outings, had it not been for those bad outings from the bullpen on this homestand, the Marlins would be, I mean, they would have won. They definitely, I don't know, because Ellie De La Cruz, that's the thing. He was so hot in that series that you had a 10-3 loss, an 8-2 loss, and a 10-4 loss in 10 innings that you could have won in the bottom of the ninth. None of that was even necessary. Should have probably won that game. San Diego beat you 6-2 in 10 innings and 9-8 in 10 innings. And then today you win 7-6. These games have been crazy. They've been exhausting. The bullpen, which was so good for so long, got roughed up in these games, and that's not something you want to see keep happening with this team. But they found a way to get it done today. Sanchez against the lefty, big confidence for him. He could be a cornerstone for a long time. And Berger's one of the best power hitters in the game. He is one of the best power hitters in the game. And on the pitching side, you really need Max Meyer to step up and be close to an ace or an ace for this team moving forward. You got Weathers, you got Luzardo. Luzardo's probably not going to pitch again this year. Weathers probably will. Braxton Garrett probably will. Alcantara's out for the year. He's coming back. So you'll have Alcantara back. You'll have Luzardo back, Weathers next year, Max Meyer. And the way that Edward Cabrera's been throwing the ball, he's got ace stuff, man. Mid-90s on the two types of fastballs, the two-seamer, the four-seamer, the cutter, whatever you want to call them. And then that heavy sinker that's 94. Dropping out like Kevin Brown's. Remember Kevin Brown's sinker at 94 miles an hour? That's how that one was. And that's how this one is. So I think it's exciting. And I think that you're going to have a lot of great moments coming up with the Miami Marlins. They have an incredible future. They have a lot of amazing things coming their way. I really wanted them to. I understood trading Josh Bell, as hot as he is right now, and you can look at it and go, oh, look what he's doing. He wasn't doing that here at all, ever. He was just starting. Give him credit. I talked about it a lot. He went in the tunnel under the stadium during the All-Star break every day, worked from the left, worked from the right, worked from the left, worked from the right. I did that on beat. Tobey Maguire got bit by a spider. From the left, from the right. You know what I'm saying? So that's credit to Josh Bell, but let's not get crazy about Bell being gone because he wasn't a big part of this team. Had he produced at all, he only had $5 million left on his contract for the year. He would still be here. Same thing with Jazz Chisholm. He had a good start in New York. They loved him right away, but he's going to drive them crazy with he's hell on wheels at the plate. He swings at everything. No plate discipline. That's why he hits 250, 260. So I love Jazz, but not crying too much over his loss. Really would like to have seen him stay because of his attitude, his energy, and his enthusiasm, and the way that he plays the game all over the field, diving everywhere. And I love that, of course, but understood the trade. Tanner Scott, they were never going to be able to re-sign him. He's going to make more money than God at the end of the year because he's a lefty and he's the best closer in baseball, definitely the best lefty closer. So Tanner Scott's going to make a grip. Probably weren't going to be able to keep him anyway, and they got a haul back from the Padres in that deal. Let's not forget the Padres traded 12 of their top 15 prospects to put together this bullpen right now. 12 of their 15 top prospects for this bullpen. So they better make it a 5-inning game in the postseason, and they better pitch the way that they're supposed to be pitching. But, I mean, come on, Suarez throwing 100 every pitch, Tanner Scott. I mean, good Lord. Their bullpen's dope. If Darvish gets healthy, this is a great team. A great team. For the Marlins to have been competing against these teams as well as they have since the break, and you think about it, right? Before the Cincinnati series, they've lost 2 series in a row, but they hadn't lost a series after the break. You're talking Mets, Orioles, Brewers, Rays, Braves, back to back. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't lose to any of them. So they finally lost a couple series in a row, and now here they are. And the record's terrible, but you're not playing for this year anymore. You're looking at some things that you can do for the future. You're looking to see if Edwards can keep this up throughout a career with the on-base percentage and the hitting. You're looking to see if Berger and Bride are going to be those big bats in the middle of the lineup. You like that? Berger, Bride, big bats, bonus points for all that. I'm a bonus baby. All the bees. The bees have it. So that's the way it's looking right now for the Marlins moving forward, and so many things to look forward to with this team. You know, I love watching the game stories, and I mean, just incredible. And no matter what you're paying, no matter what you're throwing to Jake Berger, I was looking at the screen here. No matter what you're throwing to Jake Berger right now, he's hitting it out of the park. Low and in, up and out. The home run tonight was to right center on literally a fastball that was out of the zone high. It was up here. I played baseball for a long time, junior college level, nothing special. But I can tell you this. Fastballs up high in the zone are the hardest pitches to hit up in the air. They're the hardest pitches to turn on. They're the hardest pitches to hit hard, to catch up with in general. So to be that strong, to be late on an upstairs fastball, to be able to line it up, to get the barrel on it, that means you're red hot. Because when you're red hot, what you're doing is you're seeing the ball well and you're lining up the barrel on it. That's what you're doing. It's vision. and it's reaction. So when you're doing that, it's incredible. And so to throw those hands through the zone the way that he did, and to have the strength to hit the ball opposite field when it's almost chin high as a hitter is one of the most difficult things you can do. It's absurd that Burger could do that. It's kind of like Miguel Cabrera on Clemens in the World Series. You know what I mean? Threw him up and in with the fastball, and then he went low and away, and he just crushed it. And then there was a fastball high and away, and Cabrera just launched it over the right field wall at 20 years old. I mean, come on, 20 years old. And by the way, Jackson Merrill, right around that age for the Padres, what a series he had. And the Marlins were finally able to contain him today, although he did score a run, but he was 0 for 4 in the game. So that was something that they did today that helped them win this one 7-6. It was more like a beer league softball game. Errors, fights, benches clear. You know, I mean, all you need is a guy running around the bases with a cigarette in his mouth after hitting one out. But Burger and Sanchez got it done. They made plays in the field when they needed to, and the Marlins come away a big winner today in your series finale. You're watching your Locked On Marlins postcast. Jim Greasehaber, call me Grease. We're free every day right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, which means you're on YouTube, Locked On Sports Miami, and as well as wherever you find your podcast. What do I mean by that? I mean Spotify, I mean Apple Music, I mean iHeart, I mean Stitcher, I mean Podbean, I mean wherever you get your podcasts. If you don't want to look at this face, you can get the audio version only. You get the face here on YouTube. Locked On Marlins postcast rolling on the other side, Philly to NYC. A lot of fun, man. You might want to get on that Game Time app, right? Booking.com and go and hit those cities. This time of year, they're beautiful. Miami's terrible. New York and Philly, or Philly and New York, I should say. Back to back. On the other side, we'll talk about those series, what the Marlins have coming up. Look, the Phillies just got swept by the Diamondbacks. The Mets not hot anymore. They've lost 7 out of 10. This is your Locked On Marlins postcast, and we will continue right after this. From Ibotta. That's right. Sandals, sunscreen, snacks for the kids. What do these have in common? Yeah, I know they drive you nuts, my fellow parents, but that's not it. You're probably buying a ton again this summer. You're always spending a ton of money when you have kids in the summertime, even if you don't have kids. Summertime, time to spend all of your cash. But don't stress about the cost, because you use Ibotta, you get cash back on all your purchases when you stock up on all your summer essentials. That's right, taking that dream vacation, but dreading the cost? Don't. With Ibotta, you get cash back on all your purchases, so you can spend more time making memories this summer and less time dreaming about them. It's summertime. It means it's barbecue season. Stock up on all your grilling favorites. You earn cash back on every purchase when you use Ibotta. Are you catching the theme here? I hope so. You know what I mean? You won't have to choose between burgers or hot dogs. You can get both. What is Ibotta? Ibotta is a free app that lets you earn cash back every time you shop on hundreds of items you can earn. Groceries, beauty supplies, even toys, so you can make sure you're beating inflation no matter what you're purchasing. The average Ibotta user saves $256 a year, earns it. It's the same thing. That could cover the cost of an entire shopping trip, that flight you've been eyeing, the fancy dinner you've been craving. Other apps give you points that don't amount to much. Ibotta gives you cash. 2,400 brands. Shop at over 1,000 retailers, including your favorite grocery stores, plus stores like Lowe's, Macy's, Sephora, Best Buy, and more. So it's time you join the over 50 million users who use Ibotta to earn cash back every time they shop. And you can do it too. Right now, Ibotta is offering our listeners $5 just for trying Ibotta by using the code LOCKEDONMLB when you register. Just go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the free Ibotta app, IBOTTA, to start earning cash back and use code LOCKEDONMLB. That's IBOTTA in the Google Play or App Store, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for Ibotta. And you know where I'm going now, because you see the look on my face. And if you're an everydayer, you know that when you see me like this, I'm talking about FanDuel. I love sports so much, I never want them to stop. And soon we won't have to worry about it because football's coming. But right now, the NBA, NHL playoffs over, the summer games are done. We get fewer games. And the sports aren't sporting like I want them to. Even with the preseason, I'm not getting that fixed. But have no fear. FanDuel is here. FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open the app and dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel's hooking up all customers. That means you and you and you and you and me with a booster bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long with FanDuel. So head on over to FanDuel.com and start making the most of your summer right now with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Oh, baby, I just mentioned football coming up. So many different things heading your way. You got the Locked On Dolphins postcast. You have the Locked On Canes postcast. Locked On Dolphins, Locked On Canes, two of the best in the business there. And I can't tell you how great Kyle is on Locked On Dolphins, how great Alex is, Locked On Canes, to have the network radio post-game show host doing your everyday Canes stuff. I don't have to tell you how rare that is, how dope that is on a network like Locked On, and how dope the network is. Okay, now that I've reminded you how dope we are from top to bottom, just remember that you will not find better coverage of the Dolphins, Canes, and post-game anywhere on God's green earth. I don't care who they are. You won't find better coverage than those two guys and myself. Can't wait. And it's network wide. It's the same thing with the Chiefs, the Bears. I'm just naming teams. The Raiders. No one cares about the Raiders. Is Gardner Minshew really going to be their quarterback? Good Lord. Anyway, Dolphins, Canes, postcast right here throughout football season. Locked On Sports Miami, and wherever you get your podcast. I don't know why I'm making a circle with my hand, but the Marlins got the win today, 7-6 over the Padres, hottest team in baseball, 17 of 19, 8 in a row, snapped today by the Marlins. 4 extra inning games on this quick little homestand, 7-gamer. You got to see the best player in baseball right now, Elly De La Cruz, just killing it. And then you got to see the hottest team in baseball come in and work you over a little bit. Padres are sloppy, though, man. They're not going to win anything. I don't care how good their bullpen is. They traded 12 of 15 prospects away, their top guys, to get that bullpen. Nah, not convinced. Nobody's got me convinced that they're World Series worthy and ready right now. The Diamondbacks are as close as we have. They are on fire, man. My boy Bauer, shout out Mike Bauer, is the stadium announcer for the Diamondbacks. Not the PA guy, but he's got the mic in game. He does all the fun in game stuff. Radio guy out in Phoenix, and he loves talking about the Diamondbacks. They went to the World Series last year, and I'm like, yeah, the Marlins could have been right on their heels, but look, the Marlins were 33-11 or 12 in one-run games last year. That is something that never ever happens. You catch that kind of lightning in a bottle. That is some superpower stuff, right? So that's why they made the playoffs last year. But Alcantara, Luzardo, Weathers, Meyer, Cabrera, that looks like a really good rotation next year. And then on top of that, with the bullpen being what it is, even without Tanner Scott, you bring one bat into the middle of the lineup, and who knows, like, you know what I mean, Soler when he was here. So I don't know who's going to be here next year. I feel like Meyer will be. I feel like all those pitchers I named will be. And I think that if you're building a lineup around Berger and Sanchez, and who knows what you have with Xavier Edwards long-term, yeah, we'll see. Who's going to be the next player to step up and get traded for the Marlins? I mean, that's kind of the way you have to feel if you're a fan right now. Unfortunately, with the season having gone the way it's gone, with the 9-gamer to start, the 3-5 gamers, the 6-gamer, it's just been one struggle after another for this team, but an excellent win today. Outstanding, one to grow on, as I talked about. And I believe it will be Belloso tomorrow for the Marlins in Philadelphia. And that would be, Valente Belloso. And that's a 6:40. Both games in Philly are 6:40 starts. Not tomorrow, by the way. It's Tuesday and Wednesday, and then Thursday through Sunday in the second part of New York. So Berger, by the way, has 22 home runs, not 21. He's got the average all the way up to 251, 22 and 53 homers and RBIs for Jake. De La Cruz is finally not the team leader in both those categories anymore. By the way, Belloso 1-1 with a 3.05 ERA. He was brilliant his last time out. Absolutely brilliant. More on him in a minute. Tyler Phillips 4-1 with a 4.83 for the Phillies. That will be the matchup on Tuesday. But the last time out for Belloso, he went 5 2/3 scoreless innings, 5 hits, no runs, as I mentioned, and 4 strikeouts. So Belloso looking to pick up on that. The time before that, 5 innings, 2 earned runs, as he turned it around from the start before. But remember, 4 starts ago against Kansas City, 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs. So that's 3 very good starts. And I would expect him to have another one in Philadelphia on Tuesday. That's going to be a lot of fun right there. Is there an early line on this game? Let me see. No, it's going to be 89 degrees, though, in Philadelphia. The Phillies are predicted to win 64.4% on the matchup predictor, and who really cares? I can't even believe I read that. Anyway, there you have it. This has been your Locked On Marlins postcast show. My name is Jim Greasehaber. Call me Grease. A big win for Miami today, 7-6 over the Padres. They lost both series on this homestand. A lot of extra inning games, a lot of crazy games, looking like beer league softball games. But Jake Burger, and Fuego. And even though a couple stumbles lately, the bullpen's still good. The starting pitching starting to come around. Thank you for being here, Marlins fans, day in and day out. Really appreciate you everydayers and all of you for being here tonight. Until next time, my name's Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease at @JimGrease_ on social media on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day, reminding you to keep your game tight and your mind right, Fish fans, because we are out. 7-6 Marlins over the Padres. See you Tuesday when they go to Philly.